do this a lot.
I mean, what she couldn't maintain that house.
Well, I saw a great old book. I'll have to find it. Somebody sent me a picture of it. It was a book that was written in like the 20s or 30s for essentially how to convince your left-handed.
August the 20th. Any public comments?
No, sir.
All right. Can I get a motion for the minute approval from July 16th?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the Finance Committee meetings from July 16th.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? 3-0. How about the executive session?
I'll make a motion that we approve the executive session minutes as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Mr. Burrows, item number 3 is the comprehensive agreement for Glen New Hope 1043.
Yes, sir. A comprehensive agreement is where we, a developer will put in additional infrastructure that will benefit us above and beyond what is necessary for their development. And as payment for that, they get capital fee credit for use on site. Glen New Hope owns the property at New Hope Plantation, and their plans to build a residential and I believe assisted living type facility on the property up here on the far north end of Highway 17, just before you get to Highway 99. This is the property right here. You will see this is New Hope Drive. They are not as part of the agreement, but they are going to bring a water main up Highway 17 and Highway 99 to Shell Road and tie into the existing blue water main you see here. And they're going to bring a sewer force main from an on-site pumping station into pump station 4118 that you see right here. That is required for their development. We like to, whenever possible, look for ways to loop our water system, and particularly given the length of water main that would be installed here to single feed New Hope Plantation, we asked them to look for ways for looping. And so the developer has agreed to install a 12-inch water main from New Hope Drive down to Harry Driggers to loop that down Highway 17 north, and they would be receiving capital fee credit for the cost of the water main installation, fire hydrants, valves, all the things that go in along Highway 17. The way this would work, they will provide us with bid-ready documents, and we will procure the services through our public bidding process. They will then contract with the contractor and manage the construction process. They will receive credit in the bid amount that we receive. If the cost of the project exceeds their needs for on-site capital fee credit, they will receive 70% of capital fees that are collected utilizing the infrastructure that they install for a period of up to 10 years, or they make their investment back, whichever happens first.
That's where we just went on the east side of 17 there?
We just put the east side of 17 right here. We just installed here to get over on this side. They're going to be bringing actually on the west side of 17.
Oh, they are. That's why I was wondering which side they were.
Yeah.
Which side
So they will be running along the west side of 17. You may recall back in January or February, we did an agreement with the DNR to acquire an easement across the DNR property here at Hoffel Broadfield. That's for this project. As portions of that easement agreement, the developer is also agreeing to bring fire protection to the Hoffel Broadfield Plantation. That's separate from this agreement and does not, they don't get credit for that, but that's part of the agreement that was worked out for the easement acquisition.
So the longest part of the water line is going to be down to Harry Driggers.
Essentially, when we get done, well, not essentially, when we get done, there will be a water line from basically where you see pump station 4118 here, down Highway 99 and all the way down the 17 right away till you get to Harry Driggers. And there'll be a loop all throughout that district right there. That will open up water service all the way along Highway 17. And there is interest in development, and we have seen preliminary plat information on developments on the west side of 17 already that would be able to utilize this water main once it's installed.
All right, thank you. Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that the Finance Committee recommend entering to a comprehensive agreement with the Glen New Hope 1043 LLC for the construction of the loop water system improvements along Highway 17 North.
I second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any concerns or comments on the volume of water that we can generate from that?
No, sir, that won't be any concern. We're brixing to bring on the Canal Road well, so that'll be another 1 million gallon a day of capacity. So from a flow volume perspective, that won't be any problem. And the looping will improve pressures that New Hope experiences as well, and fire protection, because it'll be fed from 2 different directions.
Isn't there in the vision for the future another well? up in that
Potentially,
area?
long-term, there'll be another well in the exit 42 area
Yes,
as well.
I thought so.
Who is the developer, just out of curiosity?
Glen New Hope is a group out of the metro Atlanta area.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this property. They were initially going to put a movie studio out there.
There was discussion for a movie studio. They have backed off of that, and now they've put a portion of the project, a property, particularly, I believe, the back half, in conservation.
Right.
And are doing work with the University System of Georgia back there for some environmental science type stuff. And then they're going to do some single-family and I believe some type of memory care facility out on the property. Is it the plan at this point?
Okay.
Movies don't use enough water.
Right.
Would a well on that property be good rather than the one that we're talking about on the other?
Those are very small. They're 6-inch wells.
I know, but with a new well,
We'll do well on that property.
if we wanted.
It'd be something to consider. I think
Yeah,
at the
access.
north end, at the actual exit would be better long-term for us at the far extent of the system. But if that can't be worked out, then that may be a place we could look at one, yes, sir.
Okay.
They have 2 existing deep wells on site, but they're 6-inch wells. And we don't have any information on those wells, and they will be disconnected. They will not be attached to our water system.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Item 4, Mr. Burrows' contract award, ARCO area sewer connections.
You may recall that we had been awarded a grant from the Georgia EPD 319 grant program to install sewer connections in the ARCO neighborhood. We had been working in the past couple of years to install sewer in the ARCO area, which you will see here. Let me clean this up a little bit, take some of these water layers off. These orange lines you see here are the sewer lines that were installed as part of the ARCO project. And so the 319 grant program is a 40% match program on response of the utility. So $445,349 in grant funding is available, and we are required match just shy of $300,000, which can be done from in-kind services, and I'll go through that in a minute. We bid out to do the septic to sewer conversions. It involves installing the lateral to the stub out that was done as part of the ARCO project and decommissioning the septic tank. Low bid was J.H. Stone Construction at $4,656 per connection. That will allow us to connect 96 customers out there with this grant funding. The plan is to hold a public meeting if this is awarded and allow people to sign up. As you recall, we do allow them to finance that capital fee because they'll still be responsible for the capital fee. But they will be able to do this with essentially no money out of pocket other than the deposits and things like that. So this will allow 96 customers to get tied on without any upfront costs, and they can finance that capital fee for up to 10 years on their monthly bill. It's just a monthly charge on their statement. The $300,000, just shy of $300,000 in local match that required. A lot of it will be taken up in personnel time for the administration of the contract. We have to do sampling to prove that we're eliminating non-point source solution by removing the septic tanks. The project management time, our sewer crews will be actually pumping the septic tanks and disposing of the sewer that's remaining in the septic tanks prior to decommissioning. We will be performing public outreach, and then Glynn County Department of Public Health has agreed to waive their inspection fees for the septic tank decommissioning to help with that local match. So recommendation is to award this to J.H. Stone. The way the motion is worded is not to exceed amount for the value of the funding available, because we don't have anybody that has agreed to tie on yet because we haven't initiated the program. The goal, talking with the contractor, is to try to release these in batches of 25 connections at a time for him to go out and do. If we can get all 96 of them signed up immediately, then we'll space them out, give him 25 in one area so they can be more efficient about the way they go about performing the connections.
Do we know of any interest in the area? Is
Very much.
anyone
We've got a dozen or so people that have tied on already, but a lot of people knew this program were coming and are waiting on this to be
I understand
available
that.
before they make
Yeah,
that
sure.
decision.
Yeah.
All right. You got a motion?
I move that the Finance Committee recommend awarding a contract to J.H. Stone Construction Incorporated with the not-to-exceed amount of $445,349 for the Arco Area Sewer Connections Project.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
Do we have any history of work with this company? Or?
Yes, they've done one large project for us, but they've done an extensive amount of smaller project work, and they recently were a subcontractor on the Brunswick Villa job. They installed the water mains in Brunswick Villa. Mr. Stone is a well-known local contractor.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
great. Good news.
All right. Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Item number 5 is the pump station transfer switch. Mr. Burrows.
Yes, sir. Right before the end of the year, we were notified that we were awarded a hazard mitigation grant program funding through Georgia EMA for the purchase and installation of 5 portable generators and 67 transfer switches and quick connect panels at our pump stations. The approved cost is listed there we would be responsible for $455,170.50. We have recently, I say recently, it's been about a year, we completed 10 automatic transfer switch installations, and this is just to take the same type that we did with those 10 and do 67 more with the program. This contract is with Chatham Engineering, who did the design on the original 10 transfer switches that were installed, and this is for them to do the site visits and design for the next 67. So Chatham Engineering has done extensive amounts of electrical design for us in the last 10 years, and price for them to do this is $46,100, which includes site visit to all 67 sites to perform visual inspection and determination. The Quick Connect panels, if you haven't seen them, they're color-coded. You've got 4 connections, 3 legs and a ground, cam lock, put the colors together, generator's ready to go. It takes you longer to actually back the generator into the pump station than it does to get it hooked up.
And all the switches are going to be identical?
They'll be different sizes based off the size of the
But
panel, but they'll be
The way they
identical.
operate, okay.
They'll be identical. These are so simple, I can hook these generators up.
Okay.
All right. I'll move the Finance Committee recommend approving a contract with Chatham Engineering Company LLC in the amount of $46,100 for design and construction administration services associated with HMGP 4400-0033.
I second.
Looks like a good program. Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Item number 6 is the contract award for Newcastle Street manhole rehab.
Yes, sir. You will see a pump station number on your memo, which I'll get to in a second. The way our pump stations are numbered, just for information purposes, the first 4 numbers in the manhole number is the pump station in which it drains to. So this is in the 4001 pumping basin, which is down on the south end on Newcastle Street, down by the port. As you can see, there's travel lanes down here. This manhole is the one we're looking at right here, and it is directly in the middle of Newcastle Street. If you drive down there now, it is plated because that manhole has deteriorated substantially and has got a lot of I&I into it. And then you will also see there's one gravity line coming into this manhole and one gravity line leaving this manhole. Both of those gravity lines have collapsed. So this request is to have somebody come in and line that manhole with a calcium aluminum manhole liner. Comes with a 10-year warranty and it's completely structural. And then to hydraulically open those lines back up and put a short CIPP liner into the ends of the lines to prevent I&I from coming into the station. We have two prices on this. It's a little more complicated than just the direct price. Atlantic Pipe Services, if you look at the attached documentation, there's actually two proposals from them because they have different business units that do the CIPP versus the manhole lining. So those are added together. Bionomics is all one proposal. The Atlantic Pipe Services original proposal is $428.68 less than Bionomics. However, Bionomics' proposal includes both traffic control and 20 additional gallons of grout for filling the void space around the manhole. Given that the grout is charged at $500 per gallon, it is a better deal for us to go with Bionomics for this work. So the recommendation from staff is to award the contract to Bionomics at $49,200. They have done extensive amounts of manhole rehab and lining work for us. They're the ones that are completing the 4002 lining project in downtown right now. This is a critical manhole because it's right outside the station, and we showed some pictures during the project report because we just rehabbed that station with electrical, and there is a stream of clear water coming into that pump station right now that should not be getting in there due to this manhole.
Have we put cameras down
So
there?
we put cameras in as far as we could, but the line has
Yeah.
collapsed. We couldn't get it through the other end.
$500 a gallon for grout?
$500 a gallon for grout.
I heard Home Depot raised their prices.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
This is not quite the same grout that you can buy for your bathroom.
Wow.
But they'll inject this grout in the ground and it'll solidify the ground to prevent it from sinking anymore.
I got, these are not in the old brick ones. These are not brick manholes.
This is a brick manhole.
It is,
This is
okay.
a brick
That's what I'm
manhole.
wondering.
You think of a brick manhole that does have mortar in it, like a traditional brick home would. That mortar cuts loose and water cuts coming through. So we'll take a calcium aluminate product, basically a faux concrete product, and they'll spray the inside of that manhole and you'll have a brand new, essentially concrete manhole inside the old brick manhole.
Any guesstimate on how old that manhole, how long that's been there?
4001, I know 4002, the pump station 2 was put in 1964, so I'm going to bet 4001 was around that time frame. So that manhole would have been original when that was installed.
You did a good job, Bill.
They did a good job. There's actually brick sewer in downtown Brunswick that is curved. It had to be brick because you can't curve iron like that, but there is a great sweeping 90 with brick camera. It is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Really?
Can't rehab it, but it's beautiful.
Can't
Beautiful
duplicate it either.
You'll have to dig down and replace it when you need to do it, but it is a beautiful piece of craftsmanship.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion for item number 6?
I move that the Finance Committee recommend approving a contract with Bionomic Services Incorporated in the amount of $49,200 for the repair of manhole 40010020 and the 2 gravity lines connected to this manhole.
I'll second the motion.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Item number 7, change order number 7, Dunbar Creek.
This is a change order, but not in the traditional sense. Let's see, let me get maps pulled up here, because our GIS map picture is fuzzy and dated. But at Dunbar Creek, as you know, we've had a long-term rehab project going on there for the last couple of years. We had, right here at the influent of the plant, the flow comes in from both sides. One comes from Glen Haven, one comes from Sea Island Road. They combine, and then it comes into this structure. This vertical structure you see here is the influent bar screen channel. So the flow comes in, crosses through bar screens. There is a gap, and then there is another concrete structure here, which is the influent channel that has the grit system and the influent partial flume. The line between the two structures collapsed at Dunbar Creek, and we had to divert the flow. This is an old manual bar screen, which we diverted the flow through the manual bar screen, so staff was on hand 24/7 with a rake to rake the manual bar screen while this was going on. It's great fun if anybody is exceedingly bored. You can keep whatever you find. So we got our contractor that was on site to take a look. They removed all of the equipment out of the way, brought in bypass pumps because we cannot get full flow at rain event max flow through the manual bar screen. They brought in bypassing equipment. They demoed all the necessary concrete out of the way, put a new stainless steel flume in there, recoated all of the concrete with a Raven epoxy coating on the concrete, and then reinstalled everything while they were in there. So it's a change order to the design build contract for emergency work in the amount of $393,090.39. There's a letter from BRW Construction detailing the full scope of work, and then because this is part of the design build contract, they are required to submit their work order sheets of how they calculated the cost, and it is in association with the contract amount for payroll burden, markup, and overhead.
Where are we getting this money from?
This is coming from the R&R reserve.
Okay.
So we're waiting on one more thing to be delivered to close this contract out. So while I would love that to be online right now, it was good to have them on site when this happened, for this to not cause a significant issue for us.
What would be the cause of the collapse? Any ideas?
The ductile iron line that was in there corroded and eroded away. We've had a lot of issues with that ductile iron line that was coming in. It was suspected over the years as things have, as high flow solids have probably settled out because of velocities went down when they got backed up, and then they probably gassed off. So we've replaced an extensive amount of that influent line already. We suspected there was a problem with this because we were starting to get rocks in places we should not be getting rocks into the system, but there was no convenient way to actually inspect it. Well, then it actually collapsed.
Any issue or concern in our other facilities that this is?
Well, the influent line at Academy was just replaced. A lot of that was replaced as part of the project. So Dunbar does not have an influent line because there's no influent pumping station. It is actually pumped from the collection system through there.
All the way through.
All the way through. So we don't have influent gravity lines at Southport. So it shouldn't be an issue anywhere else. There is another section of this line we'll likely be looking to bring in and just go ahead and preeminently CIPP that pipe just to make sure it's not going to collapse as well.
Okay, motion.
Ductile iron pipe doesn't hold up too well around here.
Yeah. I'll move the Finance Committee recommend approving change order number 7 in the amount of $393,090.39 to BRW Construction Group LLC for emergency repairs associated with Dunbar Creek WPCF rehab project.
Second?
Okay. Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0.
Numbers 8 and 9, the city attorney did not get an opportunity to approve those MOUs prior to this meeting. So the request is that we defer items 8 and 9 until the September meeting.
Can I get a motion to defer items 8 and 9?
I make a motion to defer items 8 and 9 until the, September meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Item number 10, fiscal year renewal, Mr. Burrows.
Yes, sir. This is our fiscal year 2026 ESRI Enterprise License Agreement Renewal. ESRI is the provider of the GIS software we utilize every day. We previously used to utilize the county's ESRI agreement, and then ESRI wisened up that they could charge us something separate. So they made us get our own agreement, and that's why we're also having to buy new servers and the whole nine this year. So our enterprise license agreement with ESRI for our GIS services, ESRI is Environmental System Research Institute. They are the gold standard in GIS, is $28,400, and this is budgeted in the planning and construction annual budget.
Is this for the whole year then?
Yes, the whole year.
That's the full amount we're paying?
That's the full amount for the year. Obviously, the purchase of the servers is separate.
Yeah,
We should
no,
have that for you next month, but this is the subscription agreement for the full year.
Is there additional cost for software for the?
For the servers, there will be a little bit of additional cost for software for the actual servers themselves, but this is for the subscription to the actual
Right.
server, GIS software.
Do you have a time frame on the server?
Should have it for you at the next meeting.
Okay, all right, good.
All right.
We have to, because the drop dead date's end of October, so we got to have it next meeting.
I was going to say, yeah, get it ordered, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I'll move the Finance Committee recommend approving the renewal of fiscal year 2026 ESRI's Enterprise License Agreement with Environmental System Research Institute, Inc., in the amount of $28,400.
Second?
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Capital equipment purchase, Mr. Burrows.
Yes, sir. So our capital equipment items, we continue to check them off the list. This is the purchase of a 3/4 ton truck with service body that will primarily be used by our wastewater lift station crews. Original budgeted amount was $75,000. We solicited pricing from 3 different models and got 3 different prices here for you to see. The low cost was from a 2025 Dodge Ram 2500 from Ed Murdoch Superstores at $60,276. There will be some additional monies associated with this for outfitting the truck with the lights and the decals and things like that, but we will be well under the $75,000 even after purchasing this truck. The request is to approve the purchase of the Ram 2500 in the amount of $60,276.
Can I get a motion?
Yes, I move that the Finance Committee recommend recommend approve the purchase of one 2025 Ram 2500 3/4 ton truck with service body in the amount of $60,276 from Ed Murdoch Superstores.
I'll second the motion.
Now that we've got a motion and a second, can we discuss this for a second?
Yes, sir.
There was some question, I think it was the last meeting, and I think Commissioner Cook brought it up, about purchasing from local people. Obviously, you went out to someone local. I see he's 10% high. Is that something that, did we go back to them and say, guys, we're doing our best to try to work locally, and what can you do for us?
Ms. Pam?
I think historically they know that what we're shopping for entity-wise, that is the price that they can get for that, kind of is what it is.
Okay.
We've talked with Natalie off and on, about commercial, we've tried to work with the local Ford dealership, and, we've had mixed results. We have bought some local vehicles over time, because occasionally there'll be the right truck at the right place at the right time that somebody needs to move it. But this is the best that we can do.
No, and I certainly don't doubt that. I wasn't questioning
Oh, yeah, no,
staff.
And these aren't the only quotes we got. What we did here also is we weren't brand specific, so you'll notice we're actually going with the Ram instead of a Ford or a GMC. Those were the lowest Ford, GMC, and Ram prices we were able to get overall.
Gotcha.
So rather than bringing out 10 quotes in here to look at, we just kind of wanted to show you. Because sometimes people ask, Ford F-150, the white truck is sort of like the industry standard for a lot of people. And it boggles the mind sometimes when something is less than the Ford,
There just seems to be a group of county citizens that want to point out the bad in everything. And I just don't want to get a reputation in the local newspaper of,
And we've occasionally not, maybe so much in the Brunswick community, we bought down, we bought over from Mike Birch over in Blackshear before. We bought, I know at least one from Woody Folsom that's over in the Backsley area. We bought one, I believe, down in Camden a couple of years ago. So sometimes they do have in-stock inventory that they're wanting to move and they can work with us on price. But sometimes, we're not the right quantity.
I get it. But thank you guys for entertaining the discussion.
We always call.
The other thing is, of course, if we were buying 10 or 15 at a time, I'm sure we might get a lot better pricing, but we don't buy very many vehicles in a year.
If you'd like to budget us to buy 10 or 15 at a time, we can make that happen, sir.
I have a master spreadsheet that would
Yeah.
be the ideal of,
Yeah.
replacing these things
Yeah.
in a more timely manner.
Is there state of Georgia pricing through these?
There is, and so we always check against that. There's almost like, if you will, there's almost like a formulary, so imagine a spreadsheet, like if you're picking
Yes,
different
yeah.
engine options and bed sizes, and we always check against this. And usually, we can find somebody that has one in stock that can move it a little bit quicker, and then you also don't have to wait for it to come.
Right.
Because these vehicles are sitting on lots somewhere.
Right.
So that kind of benefits us too, because, our folks can go ahead and get their new vehicle and get it in operation.
Right, yeah. Well, I know you long enough, I know that you're not going to do anything but the lowest price
There's
ever.
many different directions you can
Oh,
go
sure.
with the vehicle.
Yeah.
It's more about having a strategy, and I think what we've sort of said over the past couple of years is the sooner we can get a vehicle and get it on the road in operation,
Yeah.
that's better for us, because we've historically had some issues with some of those those vehicles that we ordered and had to have customization. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Right after COVID, it was, getting vehicles was a year-long process.
So we
Remember that,
literally
yeah.
had some that we had ordered like
Yeah.
in the first few months of the fiscal
Yeah.
year, and we were really like calling the outfitter, because we had gotten the actual bodies, and it was at the outfitter to put all the extras on it, and some of the big 550s, if I recall right. And we were like, we've got to have it by June 30th, I need the invoice because it had to go in this fiscal
Right.
year, so. Over the past couple of years, we've sort of moved to this, let's see what we can do with things that are on the lot first.
Do we do our own decals, or,
No, we get those done.
That's
We
all-
get those done from a local shop.
but that's part of the package? Okay.
And we get all the, usually if we can, like the rails on the side and the lighting and all that, that's pretty much local, like the Savannah
Oh,
area.
well,
So
that's good.
sometimes we're not able to stay local like in the Brunswick market, but we are very regional, I'd say, where we can get things.
Mhm. Yeah.
Great, thank you. I got a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Capital item number 12.
Yes, so this is a portable light tower that was approved in the budget for the wastewater division. This is primarily used by wastewater construction crews when they have to do night work, digging lines. Obviously, some areas we cannot successfully do work in the middle of the day due to traffic issues and things like that, so we'll do those at night. But obviously, a light tower is not something that someone's going to use every day, so it may be able to be utilized by our other divisions as night work is necessary. So went out, we originally approved a budget of $35,000, and we got some really good pricing on these. I'm not sure where the original quote came from, but we saved some money. So the request here is to purchase a 23-foot portable light tower from, not from
It's swapped in the table.
requested we buy 2 of these since we had money, and I told them you only needed 1. They're only getting 1, but
But I mean, that is a good thing, like the cooperative programs, they're an easy way to buy something, and that checks the box that we've done our competitive pricing or whatever. But sometimes when you take that price to another local person, they are willing to beat it. So that's an instance where we see that, buy $1,000, so. It's always worth asking, it doesn't cost much to send an email or have to call and see if you can do better.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people might want to hire you for Christmas shopping.
No. Actually, a lot of times the guys will, they have those kind of day in, day out relationships with these people. And honestly, it's kind of that thing too. They'll see that like that we've been renting something a lot, and they'll say, hey, you could get us so-and-so, so-and-so. So a lot of times that's kind of how the relationships work with some of the pricing.
It's good, it's good.
I will say with this light tower, sometimes we have people asking questions. Just because we're out there at 1 o'clock in the morning does not mean it's an emergency situation. Sometimes we plan to do work at night because it's just better for the way we need to do our business. So just because you see us out in the middle of the night doesn't mean there's anything wrong.
No.
Perfect. Okay, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0. And Mr. Owens is going to review financial statements for July 31st.
Good afternoon. Let's see, in the package that you have before you, the second half is actually our updated financials for June of 2025. Still not final numbers. We are probably about 50% of the way through the audit at this point in time. In fact, next week is our scheduled week for field work on the audit, so we'll get a lot done next week. And
Halfway through already? Impressive.
we're trying. Before Frances left for her surgery, she was really hitting it hard, trying to help us get ready for the audit. So just to skim over June real quick, I wanted to note that our total assets increased $3.6 million. Most of that was in the fixed assets, capital assets area. Moving of things, of course, from CIP into fixed assets, but also getting some items recorded into capital in process or CIP. Total liabilities increased almost $2 million for the updated June financials, and that was largely in the accounts payable area. And net operating revenue increased $182,000 in the current version of the June financials. With regard to July, let's see, we are starting off the year with $2.8 million in cash and cash equivalents, almost $965,000 in the bond sinking fund. The total current assets at $11.364 million. So things are looking quite normal there. Restricted cash accounts, of course, we had the amounts that we normally see in reserves. That is, oh, one thing I forgot to note at the beginning of presenting the July statement, you'll notice that it's showing a comparison against June 30th, 2024. That's standard. We don't update that column with the June 2025 numbers until we're finished with the audit and we have the official numbers at that point. So it's just standard operating procedure in case there are any questions or concerns about that. But the restricted cash reserves at $39.4 million. Saw the normal monthly activity of close to $300,000 in received in the SPLOST account, bringing the restricted cash up to $68.25 million. Capital assets, no significant change as of yet. I will note that we've seen a couple of pay-apps coming in recently, some of them late pay-apps from vendors, but oddly enough, that's not unusual. I would love to work for or own a company so profitable that I don't need to send out bills on a frequent basis. But so while we didn't see much change in capital assets and capital construction in progress this month, I expect we'll start seeing some more of that come August financials time. See, basically ending July with total assets at the moment of $291 million, and current liabilities totaling $9.8 million. We did see a little bit of change in the long-term debt because, of course, we move some of long-term debt into short-term debt at the end of each year, making those adjustments and not having issued any new long-term debt. So you see that decrease happen at the year-end, year-beginning time frame. So that puts our total long-term debt at $59.2 million at the moment for July. And total liabilities as of the end of July currently showing at $75.38 million. Page 3, you see starting off the year, revenues of almost $3.8 million for the month of July, and expenses coming in $3.18 million. You notice that we have currently almost $1.3 million in purchase orders that have been encumbered. And I was asked to bring an example of purchase orders, which I must have left on my desk. Yes. Currently, we have, of course, every year we roll over purchase orders, so close out the purchase orders from the year before, open up new ones for the new fiscal year. And looking at just the top 20, we've issued $747,000 worth of purchase orders in July. Of that, we've spent $34,000 on those purchase orders. So roughly 4.75% of the total issued costs. Some of the things that those purchase orders are issued for, things like phosphate, $150,000, chlorine, $115,000, replacement pumps for pump station 4021, $62,000. Water inventory, 8-inch meters, $42,000. 4-inch meter setups at South Harrington, $27,000, things of that nature. Typically, these are purchase orders we set up at the beginning of the year for things that we know we're purchasing, and just as the year comes through, we'll actually see the purchase and the material or items received. Those will get written against the
So
encumbrances.
like the
amount.
chlorine now, the 151,000, right?
That's
So
a year's worth of chlorine.
Right,
That's for the 12 months of chlorine.
right.
Yes.
And then we just pay down each month.
Correct.
So it really is just an accounting figure, essentially.
Right, just a part of
Right.
an accounting rule
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, it
process.
looks odd sitting there, but I mean, I think for people that are, unfamiliar with the way accounting works necessarily, they're mixed up about debits and credits, as usual. But I think people that ought to understand that that's for the whole entire year, and that we just draw down on that each month. That's why I'd asked you to bring that information, and I appreciate it.
And certainly, if you ever want to review any more or more detailed information about that, happy to provide it. Bad debt expense, starting off first month at 48,000, interest expense at 80,000. But we had, you noted up above, interest income of 210,000. Looking at page 4, same information, but of course, more detailed breakdown of our expenses by division department. We're also in the process of consolidating systems pumping and maintenance and water treatment into, or wastewater treatment into one category. It's just one of the things that we haven't been able to complete as we're going through the process of month-end, year-end close, audit, down one person, one key personnel due to an extended leave of absence. But at the moment, of course, no surprises. The usual suspects, systems pumping and maintenance showing the highest level of expense, but almost a 50-50 split between what they've actually spent and what has been incurred on purchase orders at the moment. Water production also, a little bit more than half the expenses are related to the purchase order encumbrances at this time. But all said and done, that leaves us with net operating revenue at the moment of $613,000, which is an $80,000 variance to budget on the negative side. But of course, it's just the beginning of the year, and a lot of our expenses are budgeted kind of on a straight line basis, so I wouldn't read too much into that at this point. The cash statements on the next, or cash report on the next page, nothing of unusual note there. It all ties easily to the asset portion of the balance sheet where we have our cash equivalents, bond sinking fund, and then, of course, the restricted cash accounts. And you'll, of course, notice that we've been drawing down the R&R replacement reserve pretty much since the beginning of the calendar year to pay off expenses related to R&R funded projects. And that continues, as we heard, one of the earlier items is being funded from the R&R reserve. Skip to the next page to get to our investment summary, which would be page, what is that, 8? Or 7, sorry, 7. At the moment, the portfolio is yield to market of just over 4.25%, carrying a little bit more in cash than we normally do, as opposed to being invested in bonds, simply because we do see continued need to draw out of that to pay, for some of the projects that we have going. But overall, everything is looking good. The net effect of the currently held investments is a gain of about $19,000, and of course, total market value of our portfolio is $48,163,000 at the moment. And then the last 2 pages are the project report. No big activity happening there. As you can see, all of the projects, the $1,300 and $7,000 are the only actual recorded expenses there, with the related purchase order encumbrances. Nothing on capitalized projects, as it's just the first month of the year. So at the moment, things are looking good.
That's great. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Since guess my chair can go no lower. I guess we're,
Must be time to,
I get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? 3-0. Thank you.